offering Solea Laser Dentistry. No pain, no anesthesia, no shots. With over 23 years of experience, Dr. Colella does fast braces, dental implants, veneers, and more. She can even finish off your smile with Botox, fillers, and lip augmentation. Call 954-428-6923 or visit yoursensationalsmile.com.
Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge in downtown Boca Raton does fabulous professional makeup application. Make an appointment today and see how glamorous you can look. Call 561-409-4065 to book your appointment. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge is located at 233 South Federal Highway on the first floor of the Boca Grand Building in Boca Raton. The number again is 561-409-4065.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
It's the Becky and Boca Show, coming to you live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. from glamorous downtown Boca Raton. I'll show you how to live life in style in one of the country's most elegant cities, nestled right along the beautiful Atlantic beaches between Palm Beach and Miami. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how to indulge yourself Boca style.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, welcome to the Becky and Boca Show. We are going to have a lot of fun here tonight. I have assembled a forum.
A forum.
To talk about the...
Or a foursome.
Yeah, foursome.
Right.
The nasty underbelly of Boca Raton. What goes on here? But before we get to that, I got to tell everybody that you got to stay tuned to Becky and Boca because we have a very special celebrity coming, Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey, coming on November 9th. There's not going to be any charge to meet her. So anybody that wants to come on and meet her, stay posted to the Becky and Boca Show page. Okay, now tonight, if anybody has been watching on Facebook, I got a lot.
There was a lot of lead up on this. There was a lot of comments. It was really good. And you started off with the nasty underbelly, and I'm thinking it's more like the naughty underbelly. I don't know, the nasty underbelly.
Okay, we're going to talk about the things that go on in this town. The dating scene, the different kinds of marital relationships or extramarital relationships.
I've never been married.
Who is dating who or whom? I'm not sure how you say that. And there's some swingers in this town. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And I invited these women to tell us about it. Now, I'm just a journalist. I'm just asking the questions. This is not.
But you're also our friend. So I think this is more like a kind of like a happy hour on the radio is how I like to think about tonight.
Yeah, so I have had cocktails with all of these women, and women start talking, and the stories that come out of their mouths, I'm like,
Did this all happen in New York? We don't know. I think that's a poll somebody
we've
does.
all been in New York and we've been in Boca, but we're talking about what goes on right here in Boca Raton, and maybe because there's a lot of money here, there's a lot of wealth. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it.
I agree.
And let's start with older woman, younger man, because that's very, very common here. We could go the other way, younger man, older woman, but I think the more prevalent thing in Boca Raton is very old men with very young women.
I'm actually going with the opposite of cougar. But apparently that was like a Freudian slip. We're going to get to that, Lisa.
The opposite of cougar.
We usually talk about the men.
We're talking about the older men with the younger women.
Oh,
okay. That's typical. I mean, is that not typical?
That's
typical.
That's been around forever.
Yeah, that's why you got to keep yourself in shape and get Botox and facial fillers.
I did a whole show about how when a man gets a Ferrari, look for the younger woman. And that happened this week.
One of our friends.
Somebody we know.
I don't know if I know about this.
No names.
Someone was in a very nice relationship with a lovely woman.
Yes.
A little bit older than childbearing age, and all of a sudden this person announced that he was expecting a baby.
She said he may stop by.
Wow. I didn't.
But you know what?
I'm intrigued.
Wait, you know what?
We'll talk offline.
You know what preceded this announcement? He bought a new Ferrari.
He did.
He bought a new. He's having a baby and a Ferrari.
He got the Ferrari.
He got the young girl.
Right. And then he got
well,
the
the young
baby.
girl thing. I mean, I think I think there's some competition down here. I mean, there's competition to look good. I mean, you're pro plastic surgery, so am I.
I'm pro everything.
My husband's younger than me, so I feel like I have to keep up. I gotta look good. I'm under pressure. Because
you like dating younger men, Julissa?
Not really, but they hit on me all the time.
Closer to the mic.
Not really. They hit on me all the time.
Okay.
They pursue me. I would prefer somebody my age or a little bit older, 10 years older.
Okay.
The maturity level, a good balance.
But do you date younger men?
I dated one recently.
Okay.
What's the youngest man that you've been out with?
Well, that's a good question.
32.
32.
Okay, we're not going to ask Julissa's age, but
Turning 30.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband's younger. I'm not a cougar. It has to be 10 years.
Okay,
But now driving by colleges.
I know Karen has a story that you said you would share.
With us. I forget which one this is.
Okay, let me tell you. Karen is married to a man who she was dating while he was married to somebody else.
I was, yeah.
And that
That's
she had
factual.
a young child with him and then a second one during... Okay, you want to tell that story?
I mean, I think...
I don't judge, Karen.
No, and I don't judge either. And you know
Judge
what?
free zone.
As much of a conservative as I am, and I talk a lot of conservative politics, when it comes to relationships, I'm pretty, liberal. And I'm pretty socially liberal, too.
And you admit what you do.
Right.
I admit what I do. I don't care. I think if you're in a bad relationship, you're a fool if you don't think that somebody might cheat on you.
And what's your mantra?
If you're not sleeping with your husband, someone else is. And you want to know what? I think that's true. I think men require a certain amount. I mean, at least the men I've been with, require a certain amount of attention. If you're not giving your man attention, you know what? Especially here in a climate of South Florida, there's a lot of girls who are looking for a nice guy. It doesn't make the guy necessarily a horrible human being.
Right.
But people need to be realistic. If you're in an unhappy relationship, people cheat.
Do you think
Get out. Stuff happens.
Do you think men are more lonely than women? Like if they're not sleeping with their wife or vice versa, who do you think would be apt to run?
I'm not I don't consider myself a needy person. So I think when it comes to women, it depends on the level of I think everybody has a nurturing side and a needy side, and I think men require a certain amount of attention.
Well, women are more independent.
Okay, so can we go?
I think it's totally different for a woman. The motivation's totally different. When women cheat, it's for totally different reasons than why men cheat.
What are the reasons when women cheat?
I think when women cheat, it's emotional. They're not being emotionally fulfilled in the relationship, or they feel devalued. For me, I was in a relationship, and we both were unhappy for a long time. But when you have kids, a lot of people stay in it, and you and I have talked about this for the kids.
Yes. Absolutely.
Let's stay in it for the kids because that's the right thing to do, and I respect that to a certain extent, and a lot of people do it. But you know what? A lot of people also cheat on each other. It's a reality.
Yeah. Or here I found that they live double lives. They really do.
Yeah, I would be so bad at that. I would be the worst.
But they live the double lives.
Yeah, because you're very honest about what you do.
Hey, you know where I was today?
Okay, now back to Karen's story. Can you tell the story? What happened?
That's basically what happened. I met somebody. He was in a relationship. We fell in love.
He was married.
He was married.
But he was separated.
He was. They had their own relationship issues. I don't want it. Right. I don't want to get into because it's going to be a he said, she said kind of thing. Yep. And what I was told and what actually happened. And we're going back years and years and years. I don't even think the details matter at this point.
Okay.
I think what matters if you're in an unhappy relationship and your husband or your wife feels devalued or feels like they're not getting what they want out of the relationship, they're going to cheat. So, you have to make sure that you're on the same page. If it means go to counseling or do whatever you have to do to make sure that other person is communicating with you.
Right. Communication is very important.
Yeah, I see a lot of cheating going on. And believe me, there's a lot of people out there that have been through that. And look at me. I'm married to the guy that was my affair and his affair. And we're married now.
How long have you been married?
We've been married for 4 years now.
Okay, so he was married and had 2 children. And you had an affair with him.
Yeah.
And he eventually left his wife and married you.
Yeah, pretty much in a nutshell. And you know what? It's more common than people want to talk about.
Right.
Correct.
It's definitely more common.
Correct.
I own it, and I'm that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know what? You take the good, you take the bad. I've had, I've been on the other side of the equation. I mean, this is my 3rd marriage. I'm not good at relationships, but I'm also not single. I think I marry everybody. I don't know.
Julissa, do you have a story to tell about dating in Boca?
Oh God!
Can you give us some insight?
Stories? I get hit on mostly by married men.
You were telling me that.
Right, 80% are married men, and
you're single.
Isn't that
I'm single. I've never been married. What they do tell me is exactly what you said.
It's so
they
interesting.
need attention, and they're not getting sex. And it's a lot of men here that I see their wives in the same social circle at different events.
Do you feel like it's necessarily a sexual thing, or that sometimes with guys it's emotional? Because I think with women it's emotional.
I think it's emotional.
You think with guys it's emotional?
Yeah, having conversation with them, they need attention. They need
Attention.
so
And
much
stroking.
attention.
Exactly.
Petting
Stimulation.
and stroking and telling them how great they are.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And they also miss the conversation with somebody that has something going on in their lives, that is intelligent to talk to. Most of their wives don't have anything going on.
Right.
And all they do is complain.
What's the age range, would you say, that you meet, of the men, the married men?
Range is anywhere from 30 to 50.
And you were telling me that a lot of times these men's wives know that they're out there dating other women, and they
So-
don't care?
Correct.
Or they
So
don't
I
want to
have
give
a
up their
girlfriend
lifestyle?
that is actually, she's watching the show, having an affair with a local married man, and she had reached out to his wife.
She reached out to the... Oh,
Yes,
that's interesting.
really?
Okay.
Because she fell in love.
We're on to something, right?
Oh,
She
boy.
fell in love, she told me, and she reached out to the wife.
To say what?
That she's been dating him and they've been having an affair. And the wife just turned her back, and they're still together.
See, she probably reached out thinking that would break up the marriage
Correct.
and she would get married, but
Correct.
it didn't, because the wife already knew.
Correct.
Right.
And she didn't want to give up her lifestyle.
But
Correct.
see,
And
you know
she
what's so
probably
interesting
wasn't
is
the
that's
only one
super
that he was
common.
with.
No,
you say?
That's super
Very
no,
common.
he's actually
Oh,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
her.
So that was the first and only?
So is it
Yeah.
a dead-end street for that girl? If the wife and the husband are never
She
going to get
says it's
divorced?
great sex, so God bless her.
But is it more than that for
I
her?
wish I was having
I
date
think
sex.
everybody wants more than sex, don't you?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
is it,
sex
obviously
isn't everything.
More
I mean, it's
than
great,
that
but
for her, because then she reached out for the wife.
Correct. She fell in love.
she
That's
thought
it.
she
So it's
thought that
more
she
than-
could tell the wife, and that would break
Yes,
up the
no,
marriage, and
that
she
I
would get
know.
the
Do
husband.
you
Yeah.
think that it's that? You think it was that like devious on her part?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think about who this could be. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give anything
No
away. But
names.
I don't know. I don't know, because I
I've
think you
heard
could look at it a
stories-
different
I've
way.
heard stories where there will be someone dating a woman, and he's married, and the woman will have her girlfriends call the wife. They just want the wife to find out to cause a divorce in hopes of marrying
Well,
the
that's
guy.
that's a really cruddy move.
Yeah.
That's not
That
nice.
sounds desperate.
That sounds very
It does sound
mean
very
to me.
desperate.
That
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
speaking of
necessarily think
desperate,
I like
want to
that.
shift gears here, because there's another thing that we have talked about. There are women that will get pregnant by wealthy older men, not men that they're interested in
just
being
wealthy
married.
Not
men.
even, I was going to say,
Just
just
wealthy
wealthy
men.
older
Older.
men.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I think
To
there's
my
internet
friends.
trolls
And
But
out
men
there.
that, because
one
they
to
will
take
get
care
child
of.
support for that child up
Correct.
to age 18, and
Correct.
child support is based on the income of the father.
And they know
Correct.
So
exactly
if
what
it's a
they're
very
doing.
wealthy guy,
Yeah.
you get a couple of those
Just
kids
set
under, you bang out a couple of those kids from
Yeah.
a couple of wealthy guys.
Yeah.
And
You're set.
sometimes, you know what, you can bang out 2 kids in like 14 or 15 months if you do a really
We
good
know-
job.
okay,
I mean,
we-
I'm not, I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying you can. I mean, it happens.
And then once you have that child, you don't have to marry the guy.
No.
And that income is going to come in for 18 years. And it's
Correct.
usually very good income if the
Correct.
man has money.
And sometimes the
Right.
girls get married. I mean, I think sometimes they have intentions going in. Like, I think there's a lot of people that meet on the internet these days. The world has changed. People meet and they have maybe the best of intentions in that moment, but maybe they're not in the relationship for the right reasons because they're looking for,
I don't
a
know.
paycheck.
Okay, but I'm not talking about those women.
Well, I have a
Pay
personal
attention, Karen.
story.
That's right.
I have a personal story.
Get in focus.
I'm talking about
My
the
best
women that are
friend,
intentionally
this
getting
happened to
pregnant
him.
by wealthy
Yeah.
men so that they will have an income for 18 years.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Absolutely.
It
They
happens.
don't, most
Not
of the time, they don't get a
love.
ring around their
Right.
finger, but some of them are lucky enough to get a ring. And when they get a ring, they get married. And then they're
But some of
divorced
them
2 or
don't
3
want
years
that
later.
guy.
No,
But
no,
some
no.
of them
They
don't
by
want
9
the
months,
guy.
they're done.
They don't want to get
They
married.
move on
They
to
just
the
They want the
friend.
income
Of course,
and,
yeah.
and the kids.
Then why would you want a kid and no guy to help
No,
you? This
because
doesn't make any logical
financially-
sense to
support
me.
yourself.
Financially.
They don't have to worry
Oh.
about
Yeah.
anything.
They
The
can
money's
hire a
coming in.
nanny if the guy's wealthy enough.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. That seems so shallow to
But
me.
it
I would like
happens.
to
But it
believe that
happens.
that's
We
not
live in
true.
Boca.
It happens.
They're shallow.
I would like
Yeah.
to think that people want to get married.
Do you know where we
really?
live?
No, but
I
you know what?
guess.
Yeah, and there are a lot.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
think.
that.
Well, I think a lot of people do want to get married, but in a lot of cases, the woman is looking for support.
Right.
You know,
She's looking for that
looking
sugar
for a,
daddy.
a rescue,
Sugar daddy.
someone to
Whatever you
support
wanna
her,
Right.
And having a kid with a wealthy
Yeah.
guy, you know how much alimony a normal guy gets. Can you imagine someone super wealthy? It's based on their wealth. It would be a lot of money.
It's so confusing to me though, because it's so like beyond like my understanding.
But
I know I'm preaching the choir over here, right?
I know someone that
Okay.
for many, many years, she was seeing someone, a very well-known person, and she found out whatever the secret was that he was doing, because there was a big secret.
Secret.
A big
Yeah,
secret.
big secret, a big one. I
What
can't
kind of
even-
secret?
I can't talk about it.
Oh.
No, it's not because you know what?
Ooh,
He
now
was
I
up to
wanna know.
something.
Yeah, yes, and so therefore she was blackmailing him for years. She was
They
getting,
do that all the
she was
time
getting
here.
a lot of money from him every month
Ah,
for years
Wow.
and years.
to
And
keep
then-
quiet about the secret. I think I know what the secret was.
How bad
No?
could the
Do I-
secret
No,
be?
don't say it.
How
was
bad
not-
could it be?
It was not good.
It was
It was not good?
It wasn't good. It was someone who didn't want that to come out. So
Was it like dark and evil or just weird?
it was his secret.
It was
It was
It was
his
his
secret.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh.
So that was.
So she
something
was
that
getting money
she
that
had
way.
The house, she had the car. She was taken care of for many
Women
years.
are very manipulative.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
And how can men be so naive? Do you ever think that?
Well, and you know what I
It's
feel
not
bad.
naive.
I
They're
kind
thinking
of
with
feel
their
bad.
other brain.
But not only
Nothing
that, I
with
feel
his
bad
brain.
for somebody who's kind of like getting extorted because they have
Well, that-
some
yes,
silly
that
little
happens.
secret that they
That's
don't want to
true.
give up, and somebody's going to like extort
Apparently
them
that's
for
a
the
big
rest of their
secret.
life.
She did.
I mean, even if it's a huge secret,
Yeah.
it
now
still
it's over with
seems.
now, but it was like 15 years or so, and
And
was
she had
holding
that
it.
on
Yeah,
him.
She really got it. She really got it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I see things or saw things
Okay,
all the
now
time.
I want to ask you girls if you know, I've heard this rumor for a long time that there are swingers in Boca Raton, a very
yes.
large community
Oh,
of
yes.
swingers.
Yep.
I
You
get
know about
hit
that?
on all the time
You know
by
about
swingers.
by swingers?
And they go, "Do you want to play
Why
tennis?
are the swingers not? I mean, not that I'm looking for them to hit on me, but I'm kind of disappointed.
I want to play tennis."
Yeah, and
Always
the people,
tennis.
So
during the
with
day.
their spouse, is that the
Oh,
idea?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they invite you to go with their spouse
To
and
play
play tennis,
tennis.
and then what happens?
I'm like,
Oh.
"Are you kidding me?"
During the day?
Yes,
yeah,
I
that's
think
Wait,
nobody
then how do you know they're
works.
swingers?
because they both want to swing.
because it comes out later after a conversation.
Yeah.
That they invite
Yeah.
you to.
So were
But
they?
then they always
Was it a
have so
monogamy?
many
hit on my
questions.
date first.
So many questions.
They hit on the
see.
guy
Okay.
first, so the female hits on my date,
Oh.
and then she's like, "Why don't we do a foursome
Oh,
playing tennis?"
okay.
Okay, you know what my thought on that is, and I could be wrong. A woman would only do that if she wasn't that attracted to her spouse or her partner. Because I wouldn't want
Or
to share.
traditional. We're not talking about traditional people.
No, that's not true.
Not true.
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa,
Please,
what do you know?
please tell Lisa. What do you know?
Is it a secret?
What do you know?
She's got so many
Years
secrets.
ago.
She owned a store for a
I
long
know.
time in
That's
this town.
why
She
I-
knows a lot of
because
things.
That's why I invited her
True.
because she gets all the stories.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, there was a husband and wife that they went out all the time with this other couple, and the other couple told them that they had a whole group that they were swinging with.
Yeah.
And the couple then said,
Heard.
"Oh, I don't want to deal with that. That's not good." The next thing you know, they were doing a foursome with the couple that told them.
Tennis?
I don't want to do that. Oh, okay.
And they were
But after they said that they weren't swingers, then they participated in the
yes,
swinging.
they did, and they enjoyed it, and they loved
They
each other.
enjoyed
They all
it.
they loved their spouses.
There's a
I know
bar
they
around
did.
here somewhere that's known as a swingers place. Is that still here? There was.
Trapeze in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, I was thinking. I think it was called the Hideaway.
Now we
Somewhere.
know about
No.
trapeze.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I lived near there when I first moved to Florida, like 17 or 18 years
Okay,
ago. But
and
I
what
had
was-
heard some kind of shady things about that
I thought it was for
establishment.
swingers.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
don't
like
know.
where my kids went to school. So, like, I drove around there. There's no
Right,
Kohl's
right.
there. I don't
where's
know
the
what's going
Hideaway?
on, but
I think it was Deerfield or.
Oh, I don't know.
it was on. It was near Hillsborough because I lived.
Yeah.
I lived in Parkland. I lived in the Winter
Yeah.
Circle, which is right off of
Interesting.
441.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, for 30 years, I've heard about that place.
But
as
I've
being a
heard,
swingers
I've
place.
heard things for being down here 18 years. I mean, I've seen a lot of things in 18
Yeah.
years. Like, I'm not, and I was a single girl coming down here. So I experienced some of what Jaleesa's talking about.
Yeah.
But not like, nothing that was ever like outside of my comfort zone. It was like one of those things where like, you know me, like I turk out. We call it turking
Turk
out.
out.
Right.
I turk out at like 10 o'clock. So I'm
Okay,
out
so you're-
before
so you
anything
miss the
gets
whole- the swinger thing starts
weird.
later.
It gets,
Yeah.
right. So when things start to get weird, I gotta go. So
Yeah.
Then I
You
tell
know-
her stories the next day. She's like, "Wow, I missed
like
all of
where
that."
when did that
Excited.
happen
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, that must have been after I left.
Yeah.
So I know what my comfort zone is, but I've seen a lot of things in 18 years, and there is definitely like an underground world
Yeah.
Do you
to
think
people
it-
that have a lot of money.
It comes with money. And why is that?
It comes with money because
Why
I
is
think
that?
people get
bored.
You're bored.
They
You
get
get to the
bored.
point where it's like you can buy tickets to any event, you can do
You can do
whatever,
anything.
but
Right.
I guess doing things with other people
Why
is
do
the
you
only
think
thing
the
that's
movie 50
logically
Shades of
left.
Grey
I don't know.
came out?
I don't.
Right.
People are bored.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that other movie with Tom Cruise many years ago?
Oh,
where they
yeah,
went to
that-
Nicole
oh,
and to
I
the
watched
mansion?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Eyes wide
That's the
shut.
same type of thing. That was all wealthy
I
men
use
that would
that
go
eyes
to this
wide
place,
shut.
and there would be women there.
And that would be like a key party or
Yeah.
whatever they talked
Right.
about. 'Cause
Yes,
I actually had a
yes.
conversation
I love
with an
that.
older woman, a woman in her 70s in Boynton Beach, who will remain not to be named
Okay.
this past week.
Okay.
And she told me that she had some neighbors that had some like key parties.
Okay,
and
what's
one
a
of these
key party?
retirement
No.
communities. And
In
I
a
was
retirement
like,
community?
I said,
Oh, we already
I
talked
said
on one of my
key
shows
party,
about
and she goes, well, you know,
retirement
they
thing.
come in and they put their keys in the bowl. Like, we weren't involved in it at all. She goes, but what ended up happening is the couples, like one of the couples in the neighborhood, and I mean, we're talking like an over 55 community in Boynton Beach.
Wow.
Right.
They ended up getting, like, swapping and getting married to, like, the other people.
Oh, wow.
And now they live, like, across the street from each other. But the
Keep it in your
couples
community.
As long
people.
as everybody's
Keep it in
happy.
your community.
So, okay, you put your keys in a bowl, then what happens?
Well,
And then I guess you pull a
draw.
key and then...
Becky.
I saw a movie about this one. You pull a key, and then you go back to that house? Is that what happens?
No.
I don't know.
No,
I have a
no,
lot
no,
of
no, no.
questions.
No.
I have a lot of
I
questions.
think,
How's it work?
I think you put the
Can someone call in and let us know?
Oh, yeah, we're taking calls.
I sounds like Lisa knows. Let's let
Okay.
Lisa
Let us
tell us
know.
what goes on.
888-565-1470. If anyone would like to call in and wants to tell any stories about what goes on in Boca Raton,
that would be
we
a lot of
would
fun.
we would love to speak to you. So it's 888-565-1470. Okay, so a key party, what? You take the key and you go
Lisa-
to the
Lisa's got the
you don't
scoop.
leave. You stay in the house, don't you? Or
I don't know.
This is what
I'm
I think.
learning.
Why do you put your keys in the bowl and
Okay.
then you kind of go off with whomever you decide to go off with? You're not going to someone's house.
No,
Oh, I thought
I
maybe
think it
it was
has
like a
to.
lock
I
and
interpret it
key.
as like you're
No, because-
picking up somebody person's random key, and then you have to like
Go
do
with that
what,
person.
right? Yeah.
That's
I
what I
interpreted the
thought.
same way
Wow.
you did. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
Jalissa, as a single woman in Boca Raton, any other interesting stories? I think you told me that sometimes these men will be out at bars with a date in the same community where their wife lives. It's a small town.
Oh, yes. I've seen
and
this.
the wives and all their friends know this is going on, and it's just
Correct.
accepted behavior.
Correct. It is accepted.
But Karen, you look speechless.
I'm like, you know what? I think it's like their own personal business. I think everybody needs to like not be nosy.
Right.
Like now I feel bad because I'm like these people want to be like under the radar and like
Well,
do their
we're not
thing.
telling
no,
you.
they're not
Right.
under the radar. They're out in public.
Right. They are out in public, but
They don't care. They don't care.
They don't care.
Well, you know what?
They don't care.
People talk, especially in this town.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
They really talk.
Well, you know, I call her my sister wife,
Yeah.
and there are actually
Yeah.
people that think that she has some sort of a relationship with my husband.
Evan, yes.
Whatever.
You know, I have to say that in a non-sexual way, like I think it's really important. Like I need a lot of help. Like I need all the help I can get, and I have to
Right.
gather my girlfriends to help me with my husband. So I can only
Help you with your
imagine
husband.
if you couldn't fulfill your husband sexually, maybe you need other women to
need
help
help.
you.
Now, wait,
maybe you
hold
need to
it.
enlist
Hold
help.
a minute. So help you with your husband.
Not sexually.
Sexual. Okay.
Right?
That's
No, no,
fine.
no,
Okay,
no,
now
no. Just charity events.
I know.
Just charity events, just as a guest
Yeah.
at the table.
I know a
That's
couple. I'm not going to say their names, obviously. He actually has two families, two wives,
Well,
two sets of children. Now, this is common.
it. You told me
apparently.
this. Insane.
And he's with one wife in the United States for a certain amount of time per month, and he's with the other wife in another country for a certain amount of time per month. And this has been going on for 30 years.
and they know about it.
Yes,
They all-
and there
okay.
are lots of these situations and arrangements going on in this town. What it takes to keep all this going is money,
right?
Correct.
in my opinion.
Because it gives people freedom.
Of course.
Freedom to do what makes them happy.
Both
And
wives
what makes
have
them
beautiful
happy.
homes, beautiful cars, all the money they need, anything they want. And I've seen that over and over again. I know another guy that likes to sire children, even though he's married. And he takes care of those women, puts them in beautiful homes, gives them cars, supports them.
Wait,
Isn't that
let's back
interesting?
up a minute.
Wow.
I need to understand
He
this.
likes
You
to
said
sire
he likes
children.
to sire
Sire
children.
children.
I know,
I
it
need
sounds
to
like-
Sire.
I need. Is this like an
Sounds-
English phrase for he likes to have babies with women other than his wife?
I think for the super wealthy men, some of them, there is nothing more exciting than to produce a lot of children.
Wow.
And when
Really?
you have the financial means to support all those children and the wives and the mothers without marrying them in style, you can get away with it. And this person brings all these people together for birthday parties for these children.
So this is-
there will be many
sounds
So
women.
they're
Middle
basically the
Eastern.
Mormons. They're like the
Sounds
Mormons in
very-
Utah,
yeah.
but
Doesn't
they're in Boca.
Yes.
and they're not Mormon.
They're not Mormon.
Gotcha.
God.
But they all,
Wow.
but you know, I've been at these parties and I've seen the jealousy that sparks between the women. He
Right,
thinks
right, right,
everything's
right.
fine.
Right.
they've all been taken care of. They all know this goes on.
And they all know about
but
one
I
another.
see the little,
Apparently.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the women don't like it, even with all the money.
I want to go to Becky's party.
I know. Why aren't we invited to this?
It's actually a
This is
children's
super
party I was invited with my son when he was younger.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, you know what? God bless them, because you want to go, at least they're accepting each other to some degree, and they're trying to have some semblance of
cohabit.
normality.
Yeah.
But
with
I
their
think
kids.
there's always going to be jealousy with the women. I mean, how
If you
can there
put
not
a
be?
woman
I
women
agree
together,
completely.
there's jealousy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we're always sizing us down, no matter, even though we're.
I'm jealous of
You're
Karen's
sizing,
necklace
what are
right
you
now.
sizing down?
I'm jealous of your necklace, actually.
Are you?
Yes, it's
Antonio
from
gave it to me.
My
My birthday present.
My friend Antonio, he's out there from the Antonio and Live with Antonio and Molly.
Yeah.
He gave
Yeah.
you that for your birthday on the rooftop in New York.
Isn't it beautiful?
It
Actually,
is
it was on the
beautiful.
rooftop in New York this year. That
This
was
is the
Molly's
meat
birthday,
market.
but I'll take total credit for
Molly's
it. Take total credit for her
Where was
birthday
I?
party.
I wasn't there. I was
You
out of town.
weren't there.
Yes.
You were out of town. Yeah, it was nice. It was intimate. We had a small
very nice.
group. We had
Okay.
dinner. It was beautiful.
Okay. So we're going to go to break here in a couple of minutes, but when we come back, I want to talk about some other arrangements. Interesting marriages that I know of, and I know you girls have some more information to cough up.
We
So,
do.
okay.
I can tell.
Let's get some calls.
Yeah, somebody
Yes.
call in. 888-565-1470. All right. Going to break. Be right back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dr. Candace Colella of Colella Cosmetic Dentistry in Coconut Creek provides family and cosmetic dentistry for patients of all ages and is the only dentist in South Florida offering Solea laser dentistry. No pain, no anesthesia, no shots. With over 23 years of experience, Dr. Colella does fast braces, dental implants, veneers, and more. She can even finish off your smile with Botox, fillers, and lip augmentation. Call 954-428-6923 or visit yoursensationalsmile.com.
You've been listening to and watching The Becky and Boca Show. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge in downtown Boca Raton does fabulous professional makeup application. Make an appointment today and see how glamorous you can look. Call 561-409-4065 to book your appointment. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge is located at 233 South Federal Highway on the first floor of the Boca Grand Building in Boca Raton. The number again is 561-409-4065. And now, back to the show.
China.
Okay, back for the second half of the Becky and Boca Show. We're talking about some very controversial
Good.
things
I don't know
here.
if it's controversial. It's just
No.
Boca.
It's what
It is
happens.
Boca.
This
That's
is
what
life.
It's
This is
reality.
life.
That's why, and if you live here, you're out and about, you hear these stories and you see this stuff going on. I want to tell you one other thing I know about. There's a couple, very, very wealthy. They're married. They each have a beautiful home on either side of a nice waterfront canal in Boca Raton, but they each have their own house. She has a house and he
Sounds
has
like
a
our
house.
friend.
You know what I'm saying?
He has his bachelor. Wait, what does he call that? A cave? A cave?
Man cave?
Man cave.
Man
Man
cave.
It's another house.
Okay.
Oh, that's
He has
awesome.
a man house.
Yes, it's
And
a
she
man
has
house.
her-
And he's married?
Yeah.
And he goes to that house
I
to do
see.
what?
I don't think that's very unusual. Like, I don't
I
think
like that
I kind of
plan,
like
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
concept of
Yeah.
that.
You have
in
your
a
own
way.
house?
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to appreciate that person when you spend time with
Yes.
them, and you can each have your own space and do your
Yeah.
own thing and whatever. And then when you come together, it's kind of like you're dating. Like
Yeah.
that kind of sounds kind of hot to me.
I
Have
don't
your
know
own
about
house.
that, but yeah.
Okay.
As long as-
I know that's been going on.
Go ahead then.
Okay, rescue women, that's another thing, and we were talking about that. There are a lot of women out there that will come to a place like Boca Raton. They're struggling to raise their young children. Maybe they have a deadbeat dad in the picture. They're looking for a guy that's going to let them move in with their children and take care of everything.
But
and
doesn't
that happens.
Right, but doesn't everybody
women
want to
in
be
Boca.
rescued? Like
No.
that's like I'm like you're kind of saying that. I'm like, yeah, like
I
that
guess
makes
it's just
sense to
another
me.
level. There's
It is,
all sorts
because-
of levels of being rescued.
That makes sense to me though,
Correct.
because that sounds like a reasonable request. You know, that you're going to meet somebody who, again, is maybe genuinely going to love you. It's not so out of the realm that, like, you know, you're going to
And
have key
Does
parties.
that young
and-
woman really love that older
No,
man
but
that's
that's what we
taking
were
the family
talking
in?
about. That's what we were talking
That's
about.
the problem.
That's what
No.
we're saying
It
about
depends.
she gets
No.
together with a man and has a child. It's the same thing, but now they're getting married.
Well, no, what I'm talking about is a woman that has maybe a couple
needs
of
to
kids
be
from a
rescued.
previous
She
marriage.
rescued financially,
She doesn't have enough money to take
emotionally.
care of them. She needs a roof
Correct.
over her head. She finds a wealthy, probably older guy, maybe that she's not really that attracted to, and convinces him to let them move in.
But
Okay,
I think
wonder
there's
how
so
long that
many.
will
I think
last.
there's so many variables with that because what if the guy really needs somebody to take care of him and they really grow to love each other? Like I'm a
Well, that
romantic,
could happen.
so
It could happen, but I think
Yes.
in most cases the woman is not interested in the guy
Correct.
romantically. She's doing this to get a roof over her head and have her children taken care of.
that sounds like a lot of work to take on a man for that. Like
Oh,
that
no,
seems like can't you just get a job and get an
Integral
apartment?
Mansion.
Like,
too hard.
Integral
That's
Mansion.
too
to get
hard.
jobs in
No.
A job.
I'm confused.
A job? A career?
You get a job.
An
No,
education?
they don't get a job.
No.
No.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? They breed them in Colombia to
knew?
come here.
Okay, tell
looking
us
at
about
the way
that.
that
Okay,
they are.
tell us about that. Your foreign connection we were talking about.
Well, I'm not Colombian, but
Right.
I a lot of guys tell me that they've dated Colombian women, and they usually have children from multitude of men, and they come here and they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
But they have no education. They have nothing going on but just being beautiful. And these guys take them in and their kids and all of their problems and all of their
who are
family
these- who
moves
are these
in.
guys?
The family moves in.
They have the mother, the
parents
father,
move
the
in,
grandma, exactly.
Yeah, then everybody comes over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the plan.
That's
And
the plan.
that's the
But
plan.
it starts
Yeah.
when they're children. These women are bred and they're
That's what they bred to come
to come to the
Bred
United States
to come to
come to
America
to America.
and
and to
marry a
better their
guy.
lives. Yeah.
And Boca Raton would be the perfect place to do that.
Boca
You
Palm
know
Beach, yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I guess if everybody's happy, I mean, but if these guys are really unhappy, then they're going to cheat on them, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this.
But wait, what
if
about-
you're not sleeping with your husband, somebody
Someone
else.
else is.
Right.
What about of the dating? Online.
Online dating.
Because I know someone that. No,
happened?
his second wife. What happened? Right with a good story.
It's a secret.
No, he met someone online
Yeah.
from Japan.
Oh,
Okay.
bringing someone to the
and
United
then
States.
that
Okay.
didn't work, and then another Russian girl that didn't work. So I mean, but he's bringing them over
From other countries.
He has never met them. They're coming
And
here.
they just come to
Wait,
live
and
with
so
them?
he falls in love through the internet?
He's bringing
Wow.
the wife. He's bringing the wife home. I
Does
know-
anybody,
Wow.
you
That's
know,
really-
anybody
that's-
watch 90 Day Fiance here? Anybody
No,
watch
I've
that?
heard of that.
Okay, so Molly's obsessed with that show, Live with Antonio
That's probably
Molly.
where I heard of it. Okay.
Molly's obsessed with it. She talks about it on the show all the time, and admittedly, guiltily, I have watched it too in like a moment. I laid in bed for like a couple of days when I was ill, and that was one of the
So
things
how
I
does that work?
consumed. So basically, it's a show, and like they have 90 days to get married once you bring
Wow.
somebody over here on a visa. So,
Ah.
like for example, there was this young lady, and I wish I remember her name. And Molly, if you're listening, please call in.
Call
'cause
in,
you know
Molly.
everybody knows what I'm talking about.
888-565-1470.
She's in Chicago with Eye on Chicago right now, but maybe she'll call in. But she was a young girl, and she met a guy in Morocco, and her parents were very against her, you know, getting married to him. And she had 90 days to marry him. She brought him over to the U.S., and they have to prove that they're going to be a real marriage. They're going to raise her child, you know, that they're going to be living together, that it's not just a farce to, you know, get him into the United States. And, you know, if they can prove that, then he can stay. And in this
Right.
scenario, they didn't let him stay. So he ended up having to go back to Morocco on the TV show. And her parents were like, please just let this be the end of it. Because they had met online. And
Right.
it seemed like there was so much of it. It was like so
I can't
shady.
even meet a guy
So
online locally.
shady.
What the heck?
Well,
No, it can't be
I need to
locally.
start looking in
Locally is different.
Morocco.
Yeah.
You
know,
don't need to look
There's a
online
lot of
locally.
the
Just
inter-
go
the
downtown.
internet.
Right?
well, apparently this goes on. I mean, this is a
Wow.
whole different. The internet has opened up this whole worldly situation for dating.
I know
Right.
women that have gone to visit their boyfriend,
Yeah.
and while they were sleeping or in bed or whatever, the boyfriend is up. He's in his another room, and he's busy with women.
Wow.
So he's
On the
no,
internet.
not porn. He's seeking
He's
out.
online.
He's looking for a relationship. And maybe some
Date
porn.
sleeping.
It could be both.
But I do know
I
that
think I'm
because-
looking for the next one.
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
I-
now tell me,
that will bring, that's the next
Julissa,
subject.
what are
Next-
the biggest
next
pickup
Thursday.
bars in Boca Raton where this sort of thing goes on?
Which one isn't a pickup bar?
Okay, but what are give me the top five.
I would say steakhouses.
Uh-huh.
There's always men traveling from other
Steakhouse.
areas.
You're talking about
There's
businessmen?
businessmen. No, that's like a dinosaur place. Those
Dinosaur.
are old.
I was just there before I came here.
that place.
I like it, but it's like,
Right.
right,
Because everybody
it's
leaves me
over.
alone, and I could just sit there and be on my
Into the
phone and do
grave.
my Instagram.
What the heck am I going to do with that? Seriously.
But I'm not there to pick up. I'm not there to hook
Oh,
up.
that's right. Yeah, you can go in there on any given
I'm
night,
not there
and they
to
play
hook
great
up.
music, and there are
Correct.
like 80% older men at the
Yes.
bar and
Correct.
very few women.
I walk in and they're all white heads.
But they probably have a lot of money.
I really don't care about the money.
Right, that's when.
But that would be a good place for someone going looking for
Correct. That's a gold
sugar
digger.
daddy.
Correct.
Sugar daddy
Correct.
place.
Yes.
Okay,
So where do you
Trattoria
go?
Romano.
I like Trattoria Romano.
I love that place. Yeah, but
I usually go there on dates.
New York.
that's like a really
Oh.
chic pickup bar.
Yeah. Well,
You don't think it's a pickup bar?
no.
Okay.
I think
New
that's
York
a date
Prime.
place.
That's
New York
another
Prime
place.
is
Yeah.
a pickup place.
Okay.
I've met many men at New York Prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sitting at the bar.
That's been a Boca
What about
staple,
Abe and
too.
Louis?
Yeah.
Abe and Louis. Seasons.
Yep.
Seasons is kind of
I've-
season.
Seasons.
I've met men at Abe and Louis.
She meets men everywhere.
Yeah,
though.
well,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know
yes,
why
I
you're
see
gonna ask her what the
That's
best
like
bars
her
are called.
top
Like,
five.
pretty much, like, she meets
What
people
about,
everywhere
like,
we
Chops
go.
Lobster Bar. Keep it on the
Chops.
east side
That's
here. I
nice.
don't
That's
know
also
much
a
about
date place for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
You would have loved Pete's. Remember Pete's?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Pete's back in the day.
that.
That was a sugar daddy place.
Yeah.
That's
That
where
was
all.
a fun place.
Oh no! Wait, the
Yeah.
You know what-
Wildflower.
Wait. Wildflower
Wildflower.
going way back.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Oh,
I don't know
that
about
was-
that.
Yeah, that was right there
was
by
from-
I was like
Intercoastal, right across from
18, yeah.
Trattoria
Yeah, that
Romano.
was a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Oh.
The
The Wildflower
Wildflower.
used to put out a spread of food and happy hour that you could just eat your entire meal. And I think everybody I meet now that's my age, you can say, "Did you go to the Wildflower?" And we figured out we were all there at the same time.
You know
but
what
we
my
know each other,
spot
but
was?
It was almost like Studio
My spot was
54, but in Boca.
Gigi's.
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 and Pranzo's.
Thursday night, Gigi's and Pranzo.
Yeah.
That was like,
Pranzo,
I
I
had very
forgot about
fun-
Pranzo.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
Pranzo.
Frankentino's now. It's all the same guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's nice. It's very
Okay.
nostalgic. It's very Boca. Nice people.
That's the place.
Okay.
That,
But we're talking about bars where this kind of thing goes on, like
Well, I got to tell you, the steakhouse is where I find the especially out
steakhouses
west,
apparently.
is where the
Definitely
swingers
steakhouses.
hang
All
out.
about the meat.
Which one is that? Where do the swingers hang
Morton's
out?
Steakhouse is where all the
The
swingers.
swingers hang out at Morton's.
Morton's
At
Steakhouse.
Morton's?
and you call that
Yes.
out west. That's so interesting.
Out west.
Yeah,
At the
that's not what you're
steakhouse
saying.
chain restaurant.
Morton.
That's where the swingers go.
That's where the swingers goes because they
Really?
live
There's
out
a
west.
big bar in there too.
Right.
A whole
over there.
room that's a bar.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
And it's
so
a little dark in one
interesting.
area,
Very dark.
so
Yeah.
the husband can sit there, and then the wife comes up to the bar
And asks you to play
to
tennis.
play tennis.
Wow.
Wow. Remember Plato's in New York?
No.
No.
It's going way back.
No, we're talking about
How
Boca.
We're talking about
Focus,
Wrong
Lisa,
city. Wrong
Okay.
city.
I was thinking about all the swinging and everything that goes on, and it just came to
See,
mind.
but do you
are the
think
sixth
that
borough,
it's the
so-
same now as it was like in the, I know that the 80s, like I feel like I missed a lot of fun in the
was
80s.
fun.
I was a little young and I missed a
I
lot of like
wasn't.
really good times.
You did.
Like
Yeah.
Studio 54
Yes.
and like
Correct.
all these
I was scared to
iconic
go into the
clubs.
Wildflower
I went to
because
play
I was
Why?
young.
I missed
but
all
my
those.
girlfriends are like,
They
I'm
opened
gonna
up
And, like,
find
the
a sugar
Playboy
daddy. I'm like,
clubs.
I don't know if I want to.
So your
Yeah.
girlfriends would go. Wait a minute.
Swinging.
Your girlfriends would go into the
Was really
Wildflower with the
interesting.
intention.
Lisa's got all sorts of
finding a
interesting
sugar
stuff
daddy.
going on here, girl.
I know she does. But wait, let's talk.
Okay.
So your girlfriends would go into the Wildflower. Their intention
Correct.
was
We
to
were
find
all like 16, 17, and 18.
and
back-
looking for an older sugar daddy.
Yes, and
What's
I was
older?
always afraid.
What would old be at that
25?
point?
Like
30.
30, 50, and I'm like, I don't
30,
want
I
an
was 50
old
at 16.
person. I'm like
No, that's old.
17.
So do
Yeah.
you think a younger woman ever really wants an old guy for anything other than money?
no.
I do.
I wouldn't.
But what's
oh,
old?
I do.
What's old?
For me,
You
I do.
67.
I always liked older men before my husband.
you told me that.
It's good that you said that.
That's
But
too
your
old
idea of
for
older
me.
is
yeah,
not
no,
that
of
much
course
older.
it's too old.
They
for
couldn't
you.
keep up.
10 years
Yeah,
max.
no,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
20, 30.
Exactly right. Yeah.
What?
We were talking about. I said I kind of like older men before my husband. Now I like younger men. But
Your
I always
okay, her husband's younger than her, but she's telling us
Very
she likes
nice.
older men.
I did
But what
previously. Now I just like my husband because I'm in a monogamous
That's right.
married relationship. So I only like
And he
him.
was
But
younger than
back
you.
when he's younger than me, but he's the exception to the rule because I think for a woman, and I mean you talked about kind of being saved. I think every girl kind of wants to be saved to an extent. Even a woman who's an entrepreneur and is kind of self-assured. Like we all want a guy to come in and kind
Take
of
care of us.
be our superhero and
Absolutely.
save us.
Absolutely.
And
At
I
least
think
act
sometimes
like
an
one.
older
Act like
man.
one, right.
I act like one.
Even if they're not going to act like one. No,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
bigger
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nuts.
sometimes older men can
Nuts.
provide that when a
Nuts.
younger man can't.
Not hanging
Was that a
right.
good
So
word?
an older
Not
man
right.
has an advantage.
I'm going to be yelled
An
at.
older man has an advantage over younger men if he has more money than a younger man.
I think the money goes along with the maturity because I think a lot of men don't mature until they're about 40. And then all of a sudden, they have money and have success. But most guys in their 20s and 30s, we've all been through it. They're not financially stable in the way that a guy in his 40s or 50s is.
Correct.
So it's totally two different life stages. So I think for me coming down here and being a single girl like 18 years ago, for me, like I remember thinking like I can date a 40-year-old guy because I had kids.
And how old were you when you thought you could date a 40-year-old?
I was 28.
And you thought 40 would be?
I thought 40 was appropriate at 28. I felt like that was,
Yeah.
and my ex-husband was 12 years difference, and that worked for a while. And then we had our differences for whatever reason, like everybody does. But it wasn't necessarily the age difference.
Well, that
So I think an older guy, I
You were
don't
still
know. But if you're talking more than 20 years, then I think it's a totally different story.
Yeah. You see,
More than 20 years, then you start to get a little weird.
And then
Because
what?
it could be their
It's
kid.
you
it's
see
exciting.
these women around town that married these men maybe when the guy was 50 and she was
That's what I was
25.
gonna
But you
say.
see them
That's a
now,
little much.
And the
That's
guy's
exactly what I was gonna
85.
And he has Alzheimer's.
And
Yeah,
he's
I
dying.
remember who-
Yeah,
that's
take
not
care
good.
of him.
That's not
it's
good.
wonderful. I've
Yeah.
seen, how many women I've seen a lot.
I will
of
tell you,
that.
I went on a
lot.
date a year ago with a 71-year-old, and it was
Oh.
the strangest thing, walking through the restaurant in Palm Beach
With someone
with
that looked like
him,
your father.
and then he pulls out all of his pills before dinner, and I'm like, I don't know if this is really going to work out. I'm like, no way, I am not taking care of you.
No, well, that's exactly that kills the whole night.
This is not going to work
that
out.
definitely
Even though he's
kills the
very
whole night.
good-looking,
Yeah.
Italian,
But the
tall,
pills.
all the women.
Someone should tell the guy not to pull out the pill case.
They have to pull him out.
I'm like,
That's
is
a
your nurse
lot.
coming out?
Oh,
What's going on here?
Or his vitamins.
Your
Gotta take his
oxygen
vitamins.
tank? I mean, come on.
that's a
No,
lot.
but then you see
That
that,
kills
like
the deal.
women that married a guy when they were a little younger, and the guy was still 50, but now he's 85, and
Correct.
she's like a healthy 60. That's a little creepy.
You know what?
Yeah.
We didn't talk
Yes,
about.
I
are they
agree.
still, Do you still hear about escort services?
Oh, yes.
I don't even. You do because I used to be so like.
Well, I think
Around
now they
When I
can meet
moved out-
real people online
Right.
that they can hook
Yes,
up
because
with.
I
So I
think
think the
escort-
internet's changed
That's
the
what I'm
escort
saying.
service.
Killed that
Escort
business.
I think so.
I remember 20
Women are
years
willing
ago.
to
it
give
Now
was
it
you
away
can
like-
just
for
connect with
now.
other people. Yeah.
And I used to see it all around, and I used to hear about it. I actually knew women that were escorts.
You really, you know what? We should
Wow.
do a show with Lisa because this whole time when we've been talking to, Lisa
I'm
like
going,
keeps
yes,
coming in with
right,
these really
I
like
know, she's got
really
the interesting
super
stories.
interesting little tidbits.
Yeah.
Like she was on the whole Swing Club New York thing. We
Wow.
were, yeah.
I was. Yeah.
You were. This is very
I
cool.
Well, you've seen it all over the years because
I
all these
have.
couples
Even-
would come into your store.
I've
A
seen
lot of them
it.
very
Right.
wealthy people.
Right.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
witnessed it. Saw it, witnessed it.
I
Been there,
I
done that.
remember when I was 30,
But do you think
I
anything's
had
changed now or no?
It's
It's just
like
a
you said,
different
Probably more
name.
aggressive, I think.
They
Now.
were
Yeah.
aggressive back then.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, it was all, yeah. Believe
They were
me.
aggressive
Oh
back-
yes. Oh yes. I just thought of something else that happened in New York.
Okay.
in New York.
No, I was working in the city
Yeah.
and in the garment district, and a lot went on in that garment district. Oh yeah. So I remember I was a young girl. I was however old
Fashion
I
and
was, 1920,
fetishes.
right?
Fashion and
I was working there,
fetishes.
and
Oh, I like
one of
it.
the owners, yeah, he was young. Well, he was older than me. He was probably 30, married. He was hitting on me like crazy. He's a lovely wife, and then they sent me off to do some modeling. I'm in the room.
Ah. The old
Everything's
casting
off.
couch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The door opens and I'm naked. And it's like,
You're naked?
Yeah. I was getting changed. The
I
door
told
opened.
you.
No, I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of
Oh,
stories.
good.
So there I am. And
And he
the
came
door-
in?
He was talking to me like I was fully dressed in a turtleneck.
Oh my
And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Then I went back to this, the work that I was working in the showroom. I told them, and they said, nope, no more. You can't. That's it. They were like my grandfather's, except for the owner.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
he was only 30.
Yeah.
Only
Lovely
30.
wife, sweet wife.
Oh.
Wow.
Did she know this was going on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not with me, maybe with others, but not with,
So do you think a lot of times wives will look the other way because they don't want to disrupt their lifestyle?
Well, I think back then,
It was
without
they
social
didn't-
media,
Yes.
they wouldn't be able to find that information out. Whereas
You could
today,
probably keep a secret better back then.
right? Today,
And everybody's got a
everything is
camera on their phone.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you put me behind a curtain, I'll tell you.
Tell me. Oh, I'm going to do that, Lisa.
But we can't say I'm behind the curtain.
I won't say who you
Okay,
are.
great.
Right. No, and they won't recognize your voice
No,
or have
no,
any
we're gonna
clue
distort it.
whatsoever.
then they'll say that must be Lisa because she's behind the curtain and tweeting.
What's behind the curtain?
It will be someone talking about
She wants to
it.
be incognito.
Yeah. We'll do like dark with like just a profile of
And then
her.
you have to pick. We'll do A, B, C, and you say which one could be Lisa.
We'll just have a bag. We'll just have like a Birkin bag. That's
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lisa's a
Yes.
voice.
It'll be a Coach, a Birkin, or whatever.
Okay, now getting back to what Jalissa just said, it's much harder to keep a covert relationship hidden these days because social media,
Correct.
camera phones, and anybody can put anything out there.
They can.
Correct.
They
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to have an affair, have it out of state, have it out of the country.
Fair advice from Jalissa.
Don't do it.
I think there are more
Go to
women.
another country
Yeah,
if
go
you
to
want.
another
That's not
country.
very convenient. You're going to leave your husband in the morning, go to another country, and get back by dinner.
And then they have a private jet.
Okay.
I think that also. Do you think that the women? It sounds like that the women turn their, they just turn
They
their
do,
head.
they
But
do.
I remember years ago, they didn't. So they would break up marriages, and of course there was when two people got divorced, they had to prove why. So they had to talk about, okay, this one did this one did, and they aired out everything. That's the only way you can get divorced back then.
Well, Florida's
You had
no
to have-
fault
Well,
state.
you're right.
Yeah,
It's no fault, but then
No, but
people
that-
air
but
their
it was
grievances
very-
anyway.
they
But
did.
it is no
but
fault.
I think that women before possibly, or maybe not in Boca, would get more upset. They'd want a divorce. They'd carry on. Here they turn their head because they want the lifestyle.
Yeah,
want
they
to
want the
continue
lifestyle.
And a lot of them have signed these prenuptial agreements.
Correct.
Yes.
Where if they
Yes.
get divorced, they're not walking away with.
With a certain amount
much
of
money.
Or
years
they
married.
stay because they do not want to have to pay. They don't want to pay.
You mean the
So
husbands?
it
The
costs too much
husbands.
money to get
Yeah.
divorced.
Too
So
many
then they
assets,
agree-
too much money.
I've heard
they
that
agree
story a lot,
to
yeah.
stay and do what they want to do, so the
Correct.
husband doesn't have to pay.
But what a
Give it up.
crappy life.
Yeah, it is.
Listen,
live an
different
example
strokes
life
for
like
different
that.
folks. Like I said
I
at the
can't do
beginning of
that.
this,
I
like
can
I
never
don't
do that.
judge.
That's-
So
No.
if that works for these people and
Yeah.
they're happy and nobody's
But I
trying
would
to kill
think
each
that
other,
the person that would be unhappy would be the woman having the affair with the husband because that relationship is not going to lead to anything.
No.
right? Because he's
Or
still
it
married.
could. You never know.
Most men don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's right. You never know.
You never know.
So I wouldn't have continued the relationship if I didn't think that there was going to be a
chance.
But what
future
about
with the
the men?
relationship. It's a
I
very
know-
different situation. Like I
know
don't
plenty
think
of
you
men
can just
who
put
will not
anything in a
leave.
box.
They will not leave their wife. They pretend, they promise, they do whatever, and then the girlfriend stays and stays and stays with hopes of him leaving, but he's not going to leave, and he,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he doesn't really want to pay the wife. He doesn't really want to give that part up, but he doesn't want to lose the girlfriend, so he's acting
Well,
Strings
he sounds like a jerk.
Yeah, who's this guy?
He sounds like a jerk.
I can't.
Because then he shouldn't. I mean, either you're going to do it like it's.
No, but that happens a lot. The husband
No.
is not going to
People
leave.
have told me in
It's like
Boca Raton,
pooper get off the
yeah, but
pot.
most-
No, because
Right.
of the
They
amount
don't
of wealth
leave.
in this town, people don't want to lose their money.
Yeah,
Correct.
they really don't.
So they will work out all sorts of arrangements
They
to stay
do.
married
Yeah.
and do what they want to do because
So
they
either
don't
they're
want to
in or
lose their
they're
money.
out.
So
Either they're with it or
recently,
they're not.
I always get my nails done. My nail
I
stylist.
find out a lot in the nail salon.
Yes, I'm always there.
found you.
Won't name where I go. But my nail stylist, she's like, I have a hard time making ends meet. She's from out of the country. She's dating a married guy. I love listening to her stories.
Yeah.
And so
And he's putting
Wow,
her up and he's
this
paying.
is super
paying for her
interesting.
Paying
apartment
for her
and
apartment.
her expenses.
She's
Okay.
moved twice. He's had to pay for her security, her moving.
And the
She's-
wife doesn't know anything.
No.
Oh, see,
they
now
have two
that,
kids.
okay, so that's a reason
Yeah.
for a woman to have an affair with a married man if he's putting her up and paying her expenses.
Correct.
Well, it's the
Okay.
same kind of thing. It's like a triangle. It
Yeah.
goes different.
But he
ways.
also-
I'm
He's
just still
also-
intrigued that she's the therapist to the nail salon technician instead of the nail salon technician being a psychiatrist to her, which is usually the opposite.
The opposite.
Like, this is
I don't have any
this is
issues.
interesting.
They know a lot.
They do.
They do.
Stylists and
My
But
mother-
then she
my
tells
mother
me
always
that,
tells me
makeup
people
artists
tell
know a
me
lot.
things all
She
the
tells
time.
me
Yeah.
that he becomes possessive.
Well,
He's like,
sure.
Of
He's like,
course.
you have to be home by 10.
even though he's home with his wife.
Yeah.
But probably
Of
even
course.
more
He's
so because he
worried.
knows
He's worried.
he's because she's
how
still
can he
single and
be?
he's
Right.
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she goes out with friends, and she might meet someone else.
Yes,
he doesn't
yeah.
want to lose her.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose his connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And now, would he be jealous of the wife or just the girlfriend?
I think he's more
Tune
jealous
in.
of the girlfriend.
I'll let you
he's
know.
not jealous of the wife. He knows where his wife is.
So, Julissa, when these married men ask you out, how do you find out they're married? Are they wearing a ring?
So it's very interesting because some of them will say that they filed for divorce.
Oh, they're getting a divorce.
So I'm always thinking, does your wife know that you filed for divorce?
I have a story about that.
Or did you really file for divorce?
Or they're separated.
Where are you during this divorce?
I know someone.
Where are you?
in the divorce?
Yeah. Last year I was dating a married guy, but he did file for divorce. He did show me the paperwork. And just recently in January, and I'm sure he's watching the show, in January they have separate homes. Okay. And he was just here this past weekend, and we had dinner.
And you had dinner. So is he looking a little better to you now that he's actually getting a divorce?
It's closer.
Yeah.
Well, and not with naming any names, but I'm just curious because when you first met him, I don't think he actually told you what his status was, and I think
You're talking about the young guy.
Oh,
we're not talking about him.
There's so many.
What was the young guy's status?
This other guy, he lives in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yes, and I met him here in
And he's
Boca.
married too?
Yes, but he had filed for divorce. But like you said, I don't wait around, and I got frustrated. I'm like, this is not working out for me. You're not getting divorced.
Yep.
And so he came to me in January. He's like, so now I have a separate home. You know,
Okay.
and
Is he
so
still married?
He's still married.
Do you want to know what?
else.
Still married.
I
know
think
that he has
sometimes
a
it
separate
takes time for people to get divorced. I was
With a lot
married
of
for like 6
assets.
years the first
Correct.
time beyond what I should have been. So, yeah, it happens.
Yes, it can take a long time.
It happens.
So is he married? Yes. Is he separated? Yes. Is he going through the process? Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Are you going to
So
date him
we'll
yet?
see. Well, we just had a lovely dinner, and I did invite him to the Dominican for the wedding. I'm going to a wedding soon, so we'll see.
So you might be going with him on a
We'll
trip.
see.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay.
Well, and then it'll all be out there, Chalisa, now that we just talked about it on the show, and there's pictures on Instagram.
whoever she brings to the Dominican wedding.
But his soon-to-be ex-wife is dating somebody for 2 years.
Okay.
So they're separated. They live in
Right,
separate
that's good.
homes. And
That's,
so
I don't
it's
think you can
different.
define if somebody says they're
Some-
married. I
Some
think.
divorces
I
take
have a
longer
story.
than others.
What do you
I know-
got?
That's a lot of money.
Wait, I want to hear
exactly.
Lisa's story.
I know
Lisa's got
someone-
another one.
I know
All right, what is
someone
it?
that was married, and shortly after his child was born, he met someone when he was away, and he was seeing her for 4 years. Told her that he was in an unhappy marriage. He then moved out of the house. He got his own place. Stayed with friends. Then he got his own place, and she was excited. She lived out in another state. She was gave word at work and gave her pets away, put her house up for
Oh, boy.
sale. And he even
What?
showed her phony divorce papers.
But I was going to say.
Well, wait a second.
divorce
This all
papers.
comes back to these women are stupid. I'm so
Phony
sorry,
divorce papers.
but
And
you're
he-
stupid. You're plain out stupid at that point.
And then
That's what
she
happens
found
when you
out
don't want to work or
that
have
none
a
of it was
career.
true, then
You become
she started
Or these men are
going
very
in for the
convincing.
pill.
Men can be very.
Yeah,
Oh,
4
I can
years.
smell
no,
out the
you
crap.
want to know what?
I can smell
I don't
out the
have.
crap.
You got to.
No.
You got to smell
Crap
that
detector.
coming.
And because I have a
Everything
career,
she
I
didn't.
walk
She went on
away.
for-
I don't
Although
need
she
the drama.
documented
I don't
every
need
time
that
they were together
stress.
for
No
4
way.
years.
Well,
why
that's a
did
little
she do that?
shady too. Why is she
I know.
documenting every time they're
Exactly.
together? That's a
Yeah.
little shady because she's looking to trap up.
The private
It's not
investigator
right.
business in this town is booming.
Oh, right?
It's not
Sure,
nice.
I always wanted to be
Video
a PI.
cameras.
Cameras
I
everywhere.
wanted to do that. That would be exciting.
What,
Would
be a
fun.
private
Do it.
investigator?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Becky, your next
Oh.
career.
I know somebody. I'll put you. I'll connect you with her. Maybe you could do like a ride along with
Yeah,
her.
ride
Would you
along.
like to do that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'm good at that.
We could film it. We could have like Antonio in the back seat. Yeah, we could do
I
like
have
a whole.
pictures of my
Antonio.
dates, and this one does background checks on my dates.
Well, that's good.
Oh, you
Sometimes.
do background check
Sometimes.
for dates?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
they
lucky
say-
enough. I have some social media people, and I have some resources because you know I do a lot of political commentary, and someone's going to
She'll
check out
wait until
people.
I break up with them. She's like, I knew
And
that
I'm like,
was gonna
hey,
happen.
you know, like,
Why did they tell you that?
yeah. Well,
Why
it was
did
only
they
because
tell
that
you
got like there was some weird stuff online, and I kind of took note that
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
something,
Something
more
shady.
to that. Yeah.
I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me 3 months ago? Saved me the
Well,
grief.
you know what?
But maybe-
Again, I will
maybe
never
you
talk
wouldn't have
badly
listened,
about anybody
right?
anybody's
Sorry?
with.
Maybe you wouldn't have listened.
Yeah.
You weren't
You
ready.
can't. You can't do that.
Right.
You have a
And
friendship.
you might end up married to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you said something bad about their spouse.
Or say bad. I don't want, you know. So yeah, I mean, unless it was something, if you were in danger for your life, I would tell you.
I
but,
sure hope so.
you know, if it was something that was
Find
like
out for yourself.
personal.
That's what I. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so do we have any advice for single women in this town?
Don't
I got
get
nothing.
married.
What to look out? Oh, well.
You don't want me to get
Just
married?
get married is my advice.
Yeah,
Just get married.
Get married to
Don't.
someone
She
you
says
love.
just
Somebody
get
nice that
married.
you love.
And I'm saying,
Yeah, so that's the
You're
key.
Superman.
Someone that you
Check out-
love, not
check out
someone
the
that you
man
love
before you
because they have money.
marry him.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, isn't that the basic?
I definitely want to fall in love.
Does he have to have money?
Well, you can't be a broke.
Can't be right. There you go. Yeah.
Sorry.
This
There's
is
a
broken.
certain level. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I don't want a cook or something. You know, I don't want. I don't.
He could cook you lovely
Well,
dinners.
and he could also
That's a chef.
That's a chef.
he can be the head chef.
Correct.
That's what she said. A chef, she would take that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so you do have criteria on.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm
check-
turning
check-
45 and I've never been married. I have very high criterion standards.
I think we
I
should
don't
do a
deal.
shout out to your audience. I think
Yeah.
we should challenge
Oh,
your
what are you
audience.
looking- What are you looking for, Jalissa?
Yeah.
Ooh, tall, dark, handsome.
Tall, dark, handsome.
Now get real.
Definitely educated.
She likes a guy. She likes a smart guy she
I
can
do.
banter with.
Oh my
she
gosh.
likes conversation.
It gets me juicy goosey. I got
Goosey, goosey.
Yes.
Juicy goosey.
Juicy
Goosey.
goosey. When a guy is brilliant and intelligent.
She likes
Okay,
to talk.
do you like
I
that
do.
over looks? What's more important?
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
that's a good.
Yeah.
So you
Good
can be
answer.
attracted to his mind, but not attracted to
She's
him
seen
physically.
some of the guys I've dated. 2 years ago, Mr. Porky Pig wasn't.
Love is in the,
The
eyes of
most-
the beholder.
Yeah, but don't you think you have to have an attraction? You have to have chemistry. You have to
But
have
I think
physical
because
attraction.
attraction
Chemistry
can
for
be
me is in
yeah.
the brain.
Okay, we got 2
Yeah.
minutes. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I'm available.
okay, all right. Tall, dark, handsome. You said handsome. No, you just said chemistry.
Handsome, it doesn't have to be
is-
gorgeous.
You know what?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
they're attracted to.
Good
Tall-
hygiene
yeah.
too. Good
Good
hygiene.
hygiene's important.
Hygiene's important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to like
I
my
wouldn't
friends. They
say
have
they
to
have
fit
good
in with my
hygiene.
friends.
And they have to get along with their
Doesn't
mother.
have good hygiene.
My mother?
No. his
Okay,
mother.
so you can message me, Becky and Boca Show, if you have someone that we want to meet Jalissa. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our show, and I'll see you next week.
You have been watching and listening to The Becky and Boca Show. Tune in every Thursday night at 6 p.m. to discover all the ways to spoil yourself and have a good time in beautiful Boca Raton. See you next week.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff,